Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about different types of rails for your AR-15s and AK-47s. And the original idea with the rail was basically it was just a place to hold the gun because you got the barrel running, from the receiver forward. So you didn't want to grab the barrel itself, which gets hot as you shoot it. So you just needed a place to hold the gun. So originally they gave you plastic on AR-15s, right? And on AK-47s like this one, they gave you some wooden furniture over here where you would hold the gun. Okay, all right. So you could fire the gun, and the gun would not get hot. So as time went on, people started mounting things onto the guns. Starting with flashlights, then some night vision equipment like IR illuminators, and then you needed pressure pads. In order to operate some of those, those IR illuminators and those lights. So you needed a place to put stuff. So there's two directions that they kind of went into. One was the quad rail, like this one over here, right, which basically has Picatinny rail on all sides, and then you have the key mod like this, which basically, you have these holes here shaped like keys that you can mount a section of rail like I've done right here, right? And then you got M locks that look something like this. You got these long slits where again you can add a section of rail, and the nice thing about these like M locks and the key mods is that you have a nice smooth area here where you can grab the gun, as opposed to holding the gun over the Picatinny rail itself. So it's just a smooth, comfortable way of holding the gun without actually holding onto the pointy Picatinny rail, and it gives you the option of adding things. Okay. Now, what do I think would be is ideal for a combat gun? My opinion is the quad rail is the best way to go. Okay, on your go-to gun, on your combat gun, because here's the thing: with this gun over here, right? It's got four sides of Picatinny rail. Okay. I can easily mount a light onto the gun, okay, without having to add another section, okay, because on those other guns, right, like this one over here, if I wanted to, I got one rail section over here right now, but if I didn't have that, I'd have to go looking for it, okay, and the way things go is when you really want something, that you're not going to find it. So the nice thing about the quad rail is that the rails are always there; they're fixed onto the gun. And in a combat situation, I can put stuff onto the gun. Like for example, I don't use vertical grips, okay, but because I normally don't do like CQB, where I'm clearing rooms and stuff like that. I'm in the woods, okay. So when I'm in the woods and I'm shooting, I'm usually resting this part of the gun on a log or something like that. So I really don't want anything over here that's going to be in the way. A vertical grip would kind of get in my way. But if I was going to start doing some kind of CQB, I may want that vertical grip because it gives me a little extra strength. So if I come into a room and somebody's in my way, maybe that's somebody that doesn't need to be shot, I can use that to basically muzzle punch them and get them out of my way. And if you have a grip here, one grip here and one grip here, you might have a little bit more leverage on the gun. Although, yeah, I can grab the gun just as well over here and do the same thing. But you may have a little bit more leverage here. So the point is that there's an example of if I wanted to add a vertical grip on this gun, I can just take the vertical grip and add it onto this gun without a big fuss. Whereas on this gun, okay, say I wanted to add it onto this gun, okay, there's a key mod. Well, now I have to find a section of rail, put it on there, Loctite it down, because if you don't Loctite it down, it's going to vibrate loose after after you start firing the gun. So I gotta get the actual rail section. I gotta get the Loctite. I gotta let it sit overnight so it dries, and then I can mount my vertical grip. So on a combat gun, I would rather not have to go through all that. I don't want that delay. So that's why on my fun guns, yeah, sure, I'll take the key mod, I'll take the M lock. That's all great. But on a combat gun, right? I think that the quad rail is the best way to go. Now, the thing with the quad rails is they do add a little bit extra weight because you've got more metal on each side of the guard. Now, this is a 6-inch rail, right? Because it's an M4. So this, so basically, because this is only a 6-inch rail, right? It's still very light. Okay, all right. All right. But if, for example, here I have a 12-inch rail. Okay, if this whole thing was a quad rail, yeah, this thing would probably start to get a little bit heavy and a little bit uncomfortable just because of that, all that weight on the end over here. So that's why for a combat gun, I prefer a short M4 style rifle like this that has a short quad rail. Okay, and I don't have to go looking for pieces like on this. I mean, this is great. This is fun. This is comfortable to shoot. But if I want to add stuff, I gotta go looking for pieces. You know, I gotta Loctite it, wait overnight, let it dry. Okay, so that's my thought on that. Oh, by the way, this one here is a hybrid. I didn't mention this one. This one's a hybrid. This one is a KeyMod, right? And then it's got Picatinny rail up here in the front. And the reason is that they figured that if you were gonna add lights and stuff like that, you'd probably be doing it up here in the front. So they give you a section of, they give you a quad rail up front here, right? But then back here, it's that's all smooth KeyMod back here. Of course, this ends up being a little bit more expensive, but it's a nice feature. One of the nice things I like about the hybrid is that this acts as a natural hand stop, right? So I can grab it there. I can always anchor to the same place consistently, and if I want to muzzle punch somebody, I have a little extra meat up there to wrap my fingers around and punch forward with this. So the hybrid is also an option, but yeah, I mean, realistically speaking, I like the quad rail as on a go-to combat gun. I also like a fixed front sight. The reason is because these flip-up sights are nice, but they can break. I mean, if you got this, I like having a front sight, especially if I only have a dot. This rifle has a circle. It has a 65 MOA circle. So when I come up, I'm able to find that big circle easily. If I only had a dot on this, I would keep that up because that front sight then gives me a point of reference to help me find my dot. But this is something that can be, first of all, you can loosen up. So you gotta Loctite this down. And still, if you drop it, you get hit. All sorts of weird things can happen. If this gets hit in the opposite direction, that can break. I have had guys tell me that, these fixed front sights on these ARs. I mean, they've actually accidentally got them caught in the hydraulic doors of like military equipment, and they still survived. Okay, so you have that backup sight. And then you got your rear sight, and even if the rear sight falls off, as long as you're anchoring to the same place on your, on your shoulder and your face, okay, you can use the front sight post only, to effectively hit targets out to about 30 yards. So in in an emergency situation, if you've got just the front sight, you can make it work. Okay, so that's my thought on rails. I mean, I think that the KeyMods and the M-Locks are great. I mean, obviously, I have a bunch. I love the hybrids, but on the war gun, I recommend the quad rail. Okay, that's my opinion. If you guys have any different opinions, please post them. I'm always open to new ideas. Maybe you guys have an idea that I have not thought of. I would love to consider it. So if you guys have anything to say, please post in the comment section. Hit the subscribe button, hit that bell button. Talk to you guys soon.